All right, so today we are talking about learned behaviors or learned traits. So, learned or acquired traits are traits that are not passed from parents to offspring. These traits are not coded in DNA. Learned traits are behaviors that are learned by experiences. They are developed by observing the natural world, by effort, or by being taught by another organism. Most behaviors are learned and thus are learned traits. Some examples: your ability to read, write, draw, do math are learned traits. Playing a sport, cooking, and riding a bike are learned traits as well. It's believed that many aspects of a person's personality are learned, such as a person's sense of humor, likes and dislikes, and fears. Some physical features of an organism can be acquired. For example, a scar from an injury is not an inherited trait. It is acquired through experience. A person's muscle tone or strength can be changed based on his or her diet and exercise. So those are learned traits. All right, let's look at our list. So you guys are going to make your list. I'm showing you what my list looks like right now as an example. Okay, so we already did the inherited traits. Now we're doing the learned. All right, I got to add some to mine because those examples made me think of it. All right, so some of my learned traits are my ability to draw. And your ability to draw is somewhat inherited also and learned. Like I inherited like kind of like the interest in it, or just the talent part. Like my body can do it. So I learned how to do it though through practice and through taking art classes. Cooking is an inherited trait, or not inherited, a learned trait, because I learned how to do it by watching videos, by watching my mom and my aunt. No spicy foods. Let me put foods on there. I sometimes like buffalo chicken wings and stuff like that, but I really don't like spicy food. And it's because I grew up on Polish food and German food and more northern food because I was in Pennsylvania. We had Mexican restaurants, but we didn't have such a big Mexican culture in our area. So we didn't have very many places that had like spicy foods. So I just didn't grow up around it. My parents didn't eat it because of their backgrounds. So I really don't care for spicy foods. And another I keep saying inherited, acquired or learned trait is the scar on my eyebrow. I had a surgery when I was a kid on my eye, so I got a scar on my eyebrow from it. So that's an acquired trait. It's not really learned, but you acquired it by experience. Swimming, I love to swim. I swam for hours and hours and hours at my aunt's pool every summer. As soon as I could possibly get in the pool, I got in. So swimming is an acquired or learned trait. I work out every day. That also, and that changed my body, like what they're saying in the examples about muscle tone. So it's an acquired or learned trait that I have. So now I'm in a habit of every morning I get up and do that before I go to school. I'm also a morning person because that's when my parents woke up. They were up usually early, so I woke up early, and they would go to bed like around 9, 10 o'clock. So I got in the habit my whole life of going to bed earlier. So I continue to do that now as an adult living on my own. Reading is a learned trait. I learned how to read, and I kind of picked up my parents' habit of reading. So my mom used to read all the time, especially all the time. She had a book that she was either in the middle of finishing or starting it. So I also do a lot of reading. So you could write a ton of things. There's probably a ton that you could write down for the things that you have learned that now are habits or traits that you have. So go ahead. You're going to make your list of your learned traits, and they should look different than mine, because I don't know if many of you that probably work out or I guess if you're a morning person or a night owl, that would be yours. That could be yours too. But think about it. Ask your parents, ask them what are some of the learned traits that I have, or ask them what their learned traits are. So having that conversation with someone else will help you remember what learned and inherited traits are. All right. Make sure you go to follow the directions on the slides.